What's shaking YouTube? It's your boy Graybeard Gamer bringing you another epic gun review, this time featuring the post-patch grease gun. But before we get into it, make sure you smack that like button. If it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We got lots of tip videos, best class setups, gun reviews, everything you're going to need to be the best Cod Ww2 player you can be. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video. I've got some class setup recommendations that I think are going to assist you in becoming a better Cod Ww2 player. But let's go ahead and jump into the patch notes for the grease gun. As you know, or maybe you don't, they released the patch this week and they buffed the grease gun. And the way they buffed it is they did not reduce the recoil, they changed the recoil, which means it's more up and down, more vertical recoil, so it's easier to control. What that means for you is over medium to long range, you'll be able to stay on target a little easier than you could before. Before, it would bounce side to side and up, so it was more difficult to control and take those long shots. But I never really had any problems with it. I've never heard anybody else say they had problems with the old recoil, but this will definitely help you over those medium to long ranges. And they also buffed the aim down sight time, which are going to make it a little bit quicker when you want to draw down on somebody. Now, it's really going to be hundredths of a second quicker. It's not going to be that much more noticeable, but I will say this. I played more consistent with the grease gun after the patch than I did before the patch. It's easier to control. It's easier to stay on target. I was winning some gunfights that I might not have won in the past with the grease gun because of that. And it's an enjoyment to play with. Now, where I would rank it on the SMG scale is I would probably put it at 4th or 5th. I can't imagine that anything is going to topple the PPSH, the MP40, even the M1928. The recoil's tough on that, but the fire rate is brutal, and you're going to win all of your up-close battles with the M1928. I would actually probably put it 4th or 5th, but it is fun to play with, and if you have it set up with the right class, you should do just fine. And depending on the game that you're playing, if it's an objective-based game or a kill-based game, that's going to determine how you want to set up your classes. So at the end of the video, like I said, I've got some class recommendations for both types of play in Cod Ww2, and I think they'll help you out. Ultimately, it does feel smoother, it does feel better, but it is not the beast that I would hope that it would become after a buff. But up close, time to kill, believe it or not, and this is based on information that I received from Drifter in one of his videos, and this man is right 99.9% of the time, so I believe what he says. The time to kill is actually faster with the grease gun up close than the PPSH. That's saying something. So if you're in a small map where you're going to have a lot of close quarters combat and you're going to have a lot of those close range engagements, then you might give the grease gun a try, because I don't see the harm in it. It's not going to hurt your game. It will make your game a little bit better using this weapon, and with the recoil being more consistent, it'll be easier to control. But this is not the most overpowered SMG in the game. As a matter of fact, it's not overpowered at all. I would say it's probably average for an SMG. And if you look at COD's past and you compare, it wouldn't even be in the top 10 in my opinion. But it was fun to play with. I would recommend giving it a shot. But really, it doesn't just jump off the screen at you when you're playing with it. I have the luxury of actually owning or possessing all the variants for the grease gun, and because of that, I was able to try out a lot of different classes. Obviously, if you're running the stock grease gun or you're running the Roxy, you're going to want to put some optics on it. But if you run the Candy or the Brandy, there's no need to do so. And as we jump into the classes, as you can see, I'm running Gunslinger on one of my classes because it allows you to fire while running and diving. That leads you to quicker gameplay and allows you to be more of a rusher, and that's the kind of game style I really like. And then in the second class, I run Prime because I have to put the lens sight on. I was running the Roxy. But if you have the Brandy or the Candy, you could use whatever you want and throw Hunker on there if you're playing an objective-based game like Domination. But anyway, guys, we're coming down to the end of the video. Make sure you smack that like button. I appreciate you watching. My name is Graybeard Gamer, and I'm out.